Alright, so in Edge of Fate so far, we've had Arms Week, as well as Solstice for the year. Of course, Solstice was the more rewarding event, although Arms Week did have some pretty interesting weapons. But the next event is going to roll around pretty quickly now, starting on the 2nd of September. And if you thought that Heavy Metal was simply going to be a rerun of the last event, then, well, actually, you're kind of correct. But one of the biggest differences this time around is that it'll have a couple of weapons that a lot of players are probably going to want to go after. So we'll see the continuation of events bring in new rewards for Heavy Metal. And interestingly, Heavy Metal will actually have a couple of weapons which were advertised specifically for Arms Week. So when we look right here, a lot of players were asking, where is the sword that was advertised on the Arms Week pop-up card? And the answer is that that will be one of the weapons we get for Heavy Metal specifically. Interestingly, looks like this was probably reworked by Bungie a little bit, as the sword here does actually have the Heavy Metal icon on it, which didn't appear to be the case when it was advertised for Arms Week. So I think Bungie have kind of done a switcheroo on some of the rewards later in development. So again, 2nd of September, and much like Arms Week, we can see the Heavy Metal track is basically identical, just with the rewards switched out for other items. So there's the sword and a new rapid fire pinpoint frame slug shotgun thing, and we'll get onto the perks for those in a moment, but the engrams for Heavy Metal will allow these to drop up to tier 4. When using the event tokens, it's possible Bungie might be kind and give us the potential of tier 5 drops from post-match rewards or certain objectives. We'll just have to wait and see. But other rewards for this event, if you remember it the first time around, we got the first combat sparrow, the Griffin, which I actually never obtained because I was away the week that Heavy Metal came out, but it's a sparrow with primary and secondary weaponry on it, where the secondary weapon inherits the damage type of the equipped super of the player. So quite an interesting thing. It isn't super strong, but different, I guess. There'll also be things like the heavier duty emblem that we can earn from this event. But more specifically, let's get into the weapons. Firstly, there is the Sinancia, which is the sword. I'm probably saying that name wrong still, but this is a wave sword frame with solar damage, so heavy attack deploys a shockwave uppercut and launches the user into the air, and an immediate follow-up swing after the uppercut deploys a homing strike that aggressively seeks the target. The first trait column can get proximity power, relentless strikes, attrition orbs, then there's Assassin's Blade, Sharp Harvest, and Wellspring, with the second slot able to get surrounded, Burning Ambition, which is going to be interesting, as well as Binary Orbit, Elemental Onin, Eager Edge, and Chain Reaction. So it's the first Eager Edge sword, I think, which is actually new in this content drop. And it's quite an interesting weapon overall. First slot options like proximity power will be nice if you've got a melee heavy build, or relentless strikes for sword ammo, sharp harvest for special ammo, plus attrition orbs is nice to have as well. Then in the second slot, if you want eager edge, you pretty much do have to select that over any of the damage bonuses. I'm personally not an efficient eager edger, that's what she said, but obviously it's a good perk, and it will work with basically anything that you might get in slot 1, so eager edgers out there, let me know what kind of combos you'd be looking for. Otherwise, of course, Surrounded is an easy damage increase of 35% as long as at least 3 enemies are nearby. That pairs up especially well with Relentless Strikes or Attrition Orbs, but basically also any of the first slot perks. I'm really interested to try Burning Ambition as well. Being able to stack Scorch on targets, it could also pair up pretty nicely with Attrition Orbs, working on sustained damage with the Scorch element, so that could be a legit combo. Then we have Binary Orbit or Elemental Onin for damage buffs. Binary Orbit will let stasis or strand kills grant the weapon 25% damage boost for 8 seconds. Elemental Onin will go up to 35% damage buff for 20 seconds, but it does have a fair amount more of setup in terms of making kills with other elements, so playstyle and build will determine which of these suit you more. On the most part, the easiest increase will be Surrounded as long as you've got enemies nearby and are not going for sort of single target DPS. So Surrounded will probably suit most players, especially if you're using this for champions or tanky targets. But finally, Chain Reaction is nice to have as well. It will work pretty well with most of the slot 1 perks. But for me personally, I'm going to look for Relentless Strikes, Attrition Orbs or Proximity Power, probably pairing up with Surrounded because I like the ease of use. And I probably won't personally use this for single target DPS. I also really want to try Burning Ambition to see how it works on swords as well. And this weapon could pair pretty nicely, keep in mind, with things like Quarterized Darkness from the artifact, depending on your build, as stasis or strand debuffed non-boss combatants take increased solar damage from all sources, so just something else to keep in mind. Let us know down below what you'll be going after on the sword. But the other weapon that will be available is the Trashiness. I can't do these weapon names, man. But this is a rapid fire slug, so fast firing slug rounds with deeper ammo reserves. This also has stasis damage, so a different kind of archetype. And the first trade slot can get Lead from Gold, Rhyme Stealer, Proximity Power, Rapid Hit, Killing Wind, and Transcendent Moment, with the second slot able to roll Headstone, Precision Instrument, Chill Clip, Swashbuckler, Binary Orbit, and Encore. So in terms of interesting combos, Rhyme Stealer and Headstone or Chill Clip obviously is pretty strong, and having high stacks of Frost Armor on any subclass in close range combat is a pretty easy win, right? But I also think Proximity Power paired up with Swashbuckler is going to be really strong. And when final targets are nearby, Final Blows will grant bonus melee stats, so even Proximity and Chill Clip will be pretty nice for slowing enemies, then getting melee kills. You could run light subclass melees with Proximity Power, and then pair it with Binary Orbit as well for a pretty easy 25% damage boost. But if it turns out that this handles nicely for repeatedly hitting targets, then even Rapid Hit paired with Precision Instrument or Binary Orbit could be pretty good. Although those are 25% damage boosts with a bit of setup, while Swashbuckler will stack up to 33% if you're running a melee focus build, so kind of depends how you want to use the weapon. With it being a new archetype, it will depend on how the thing performs and how ammo feels in that archetype as well, but I feel like this certainly has a lot of potential, so let me know in the comment section what you'd be interested in using. I should also mention origin traits for these. They both get Tenacity, the season origin trait, and when targets are nearby, Final Blows grant weapon damage, reload speed, and handling until the wielder's death. And the sword also gets Hake Breach armaments. Then the shotgun has Viced Stinger, where damaging an enemy with the weapon has a small chance to reload the magazine and increase movement speed while aiming down sights. So I feel like on the shotgun at least, most players will want to use Viced Stinger. Again, the setup for this event is going to be more reminiscent of Arms Week than it is for Solstice, but hopefully Bungie have taken the feedback regarding higher tier weapon drops, much like we got with Solstice. It'd be nice if we had chances to pick up these at tier 5. But keep in mind, Guardian rank and power probably will play into the reward tier once again, so frankly the best place to be is Guardian rank 9, 400 power plus, to get the best drops of these weapons, but at least there is a couple more weeks to get to that point for any players still working on it. So is that going to be enough to get you into heavy metal? I remember the last time it came around, like I said, I was away that weekend, and I think I literally played one game of it, so I don't really know how fun it will be to sit and grind, but no doubt some of us will do it if the weapons are strong enough, and presumably that's why Bungie have gone ahead and put these into the mix, to get as many players interested in that event as possible. I'm sure Bungie will give us more details about it before September 2nd rolls around, but give us your thoughts on the weapons, the return of heavy metal, and whether you plan to play it down in the comment section. If you found the video interesting, a rating really does help us out. Also be sure to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content, but otherwise cheers for watching and I hope you guys have an awesome day.